All right, all right. We're good to go. We're good to go. Uh, all right, everybody. We were supposed to stream Sunday night. It didn't happen. Monday night didn't happen. Tuesday night didn't happen. Um, so we're trying something new. Um, I know this is coming late. Obviously, UFC 327 was such a good card that we really wanted to get to a recap for it. So we're doing it now. We're doing it on a Wednesday morning. Probably going to be very, very close aligned with our Winnipeg picks. Sorry, y'all. I'm very sick right now, so I'm trying to keep my voice. Chris is going to be on in a little bit. I know he's doing something right now, so I'm just on here to start. But we're gonna go fight by fight like we always do. And if you end up tuning into the stream here, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Obviously, go ahead, like up the stream, subscribe if you're new, turn on those post notifications. Guys, we're going to get better with uploading. We're all working jobs and, we're all busy people. So we hope y'all understand, but we're going to get into this thing fight by fight, and we're going to start at the very bottom of the card, but still a good fight nonetheless. Charles Radke and Francisco Prado. With this fight, it was definitely interesting because I think Francisco Prado has been a guy that's been in every fight technically, but he just hasn't put it all together, and that's kind of been the issue for him. But I do think that Charles Radke was able to get it done pretty easily here in the way that we thought he was going to. Obviously, you see the total strike count is pretty much in his favor. When it went to the ground, he pretty much had it from the jump. But overall, I think he fought smart, just leaned on his wrestling. Let me see the takedowns here. So he got 4 out of 5 takedowns. So he basically just smothered Prado whenever things got dicey. And things did get dicey, to be fair. Prado cracked him in round 1. He had me nervous, but the wrestling did end up saving him. I think the craziest moment was round 3. Prado had a brutal eye poke on Radke, and they take a point right away. And there was no messing around with that stuff on the card. And then Prado nearly locks in a picture-perfect guillotine. I genuinely don't know how Radke survived it, but the guy's got heart. Radke has pure heart. You look at all his fights, and this is kind of what he's known for. So he fights out. He gets on top. He finishes the round strong. He gets the W. So definitely not an easy fight for Charles Radke, especially against a guy like Francisco Prado. You would think maybe he'd get it done a little bit easier. I think I predicted him to win by decision, but I said the finish was live. And it definitely was, but Charles Radke gets it done. And in terms of the matchmaking, I would say, let's look at welterweight. I think Chaos Williams could be a good matchup for him next. Chaos Williams, obviously coming off a loss to Andreas Gustafsson, and before that, he got submitted by, was it Gabriel Bonfim? So I think Charles Radke and Chaos Williams could be a good crossroads matchup. One guy, obviously. Oh, here's Chris.
So,
hey, man. What's up?
Sup?
You came at a good time. I just got into our first fight here, so just talking about Charles Radke and Francisco Prado, I basically mentioned how Radke just leaned on the wrestling. He fought smart, got it done. I don't remember. Did you predict Radke by finish or decision?
I think I did decision because I thought Francisco Prado was durable, and clearly, I guess he was. I don't know how he survived those elbows or dangerous positions. Did you also mention in the beginning of the video that this was the lowest selling Miami gate in the last
night? So actually, before, let's talk about that real quick, because I think that's such a bad sign for the UFC.
I'm just confused because I understand that Van versus Tyra got moved to Jersey, but sorry, I will be cracking a Celsius. But I don't understand why this was one of the lower selling gates. I understand that Miami's kind of like a coveted place, and the UFC likes to go stack cards when they go there. But were people waiting to buy their tickets a week before the fight? And then,
well, it's because when the product, we've kept it real for the whole time that the UFC's been under Paramount. The product has not been as good. I don't think the cards have delivered. The interest has slowly been waning among the fan base. That, without a doubt in my mind, is true. So that plays a factor into why the gate was so low, because the interest just isn't there. And especially now, and when Van and Tyra was off and it was just Jiri and Ulberg for a vacant belt, Ulberg isn't a star. He's not a big name. Jiri is a big name to some degree, but I wouldn't say Jiri is a star. Like, I just don't. Right. He can headline a card, but when you have him as like a co-main or a featured fight, it's a lot more appealing. I'll just put it that way. And I love Jiri. Everyone likes Jiri, but that's just kind of the thing with the modern UFC. They don't feel the incentive to put on a crazy fight card that fans should buy tickets for, because why should they? It's the UFC. There's no competition for them. Like, they can just do whatever they want.
I wonder if Van Tyra was on this card, that wouldn't have been the case, or if the numbers would have been better.
Hey, John, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys,
what's up, brother?
If you guys are in the stream, I hope you're eating lunch or something, or I know this is or drinking a Celsius. It's a good lunchtime live here. Obviously, the last time we streamed, we went late night, so we wanted to try something different this time. We wanted to do a little noon stream, see if that would do anything. The women's MMA, Costa and Gamrot fights ended in finishes, but Walker Reyes went decision. You know what's crazy about Walker Reyes? And I'll say that in a little bit, but I had a weird feeling that fight would go the distance, just because when it's two guys that have glass chins, they're going to respect each other's power, and then they're also both counter strikers. So then it becomes a game of cat and mouse, So I'll talk about that in a little, but I had a sneaking. I bet the over 1.5 for Walker Reyes, and that was plus money. That was like plus 130. But I was honestly looking at just the fight to go the distance. I was just too scared to pull the trigger, but I was definitely thinking about that. But anyways, what were we talking about? We were talking about the gate, right?
Yeah, no, the gate was terrible.
You gotta bring the fans in. You gotta bring in big names, and it just feels like the UFC has not, as deep as this card was, it was not top heavy in the slightest. Blades and Hogan in retrospect ended up being a good fight, but that doesn't matter for Gate, because you have to sell these guys before the fight even starts. And now that the Gate was
definitely sold himself.
He did, but no one knew who he was. Like, no one really, like, that was him trying to put himself on the map. And I guess a featured fight was a good spot to do that, but you're trying to bring in people before. Like, that's the problem. So I'm honestly not at all surprised that the gate was as low as it was. I just feel like it follows the trend of what the UFC's been doing recently. And this is good. This is good. This is the only way you can grab the UFC's attention and say, make better fights, because think about it. They're spending extra money to make this White House event good, and the fans can't even go. Like, it's
I'm
everything
so
is
how that's happening.
I just think everything is ass backwards with the UFC right now. And honestly, if you're losing interest in the sport, I do not blame you. Like, I feel like the sport is in a the sport is in a good spot, but the UFC itself is in a very, very troubling, kind of period.
The business antics are definitely holding up the potential greatness and explosion of the UFC.
But yeah, that's my spiel, and I can go on and on about that. But with Charles Radke again, I was saying Chuck Buffalo. I was saying Chuck Buffalo versus Chaos Williams would be a good next matchup for him.
I like that.
I thought they fought before, but they haven't.
I don't think so. Chuck Buffalo's fought a decent amount of people, actually.
Yeah, he's fought Protez. He's fought.
I don't know if the UFC should give up on Prado, though. Like, I feel like the simple answer is yes, because you look at the record. It's what is he? He's 1-5 now in the UFC, but like, he's still 23, and he put some good, like, that was a solid fight, though. I mean, he just got overwhelmed, but him being that durable kind of gives it an appeal that they could just throw him in the octagon and know that it'll be a banger somehow.
It's kind of like the Kevin Borjas situation, but like on a worse level, because Borjas has actually beat a more quality opponent. The only guy that he's beat is Ottman Azaitar for Prado. He lost to
Dude,
Jamie
that's like a
Malarkey.
great
He lost
win.
to Daniel Zellhuber. He lost to Jake Matthews. He lost to Nikolai Veretennikov. And now he's lost to Charles Racky. I think you cut him. I think you cut Prado. It's just the guys that he's lost to, it has not been good comp at all. Especially now, Zellhuber has not been aging well at all. Jake Matthews,
he was good. He was good when he lost him. So I'm
you can't
convinced
just say
that.
that though. Like
No, but I'm convinced that Esteban Ribovics completely derailed Zellhuber's career.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of given up on Prado. I just don't. What's the appeal? Like he makes fights close.
That's the appeal is that he also beat Nikolai Veretennikov. I don't care what the judges' scorecards had to say.
Well, he lost, and now he doesn't have the win to back it up. At least, so
yeah, you're right.
I think you cut your ties with Prado and just move on.
Yeah, I could see. If he goes back on the regional scene and goes crazy, I could see him coming back down the line. But I think he needs a hard reset. But he's our age. He's 23, 24. I think he's still 23. So I'm not giving up on him just yet. I just think he needs to refine his product a little bit. And
I think that's more of a troubling sign that we're getting older, unfortunately.
I was not going to mention that, but
but Vicente Luque and Kelvin Gastelum. Here's the wild thing about this fight,
bro.
Luque beat Gastelum more impressively than Joe Pyfer did.
Vicente Luque should be a top 5 middleweight in the world. He should just take Piper's spot.
Well, I mean, that's MMA for you. Luque ate some pressure in round 1. He found a nasty uppercut. He dropped Gastelum. Locked in an anaconda when Gastelum tried to triangle. It was just game over from there. But yeah, Luque's career is getting some new life here at middleweight. And Gastelum is in a tough spot yet again.
Yeah, I was definitely happy to see Luque pull this one off. I know we kind of were playing him down majorly on the predictions video, but I mean, for a guy like Luque, who has been suffering some pretty bad losses, he seems like he's towards the tail end of his career, even though he's not that old. It's just all the damage that he's taken recently. For him to pull off something like that against Kelvin Gastelum, for a guy that has a pretty good chin, I mean, he's a pretty good chin. Strickard just mentioned it. Joe Pyfer couldn't even knock him out. And Joe Pyfer was throwing bombs. Like, the difference in punching power and mechanics between Luque and Pyfer are not over dramatically wide, but there is a solid difference. But also, I mean, I feel like everyone forgets that Luque's a really good striker. He's also powerful. I mean, he in his heyday, he was destroying people. I mean, this guy can do it everywhere. Catches Gastelum with the uppercut and does the smart thing, instantly wraps up his best choke. I mean, it was game over. I thought that Gastelum might have been able to get out of it, and then I saw Luque readjust, and I was like, it's clips for Kelvin. But yeah, I mean, a first round finish over Kelvin Gastelum, a guy who is not the easiest to finish. I think that we should all be giving Luque props, and we should all be happy for him because he's been through a lot recently, and that's definitely kind of like getting like a monkey off his back and really just getting back in the win column, making himself feel confident again. So yeah, I would love to see Luque back in the octagon soon.
In terms of the matchmaking, I was thinking it's actually funny because he just lost to Kelvin Gastelum at Noche, but how about Vicente Luque versus like a Dustin Stoltzfus? I just give him another easy matchup here. Another guy that he can submit. Because GM3 submitted Stoltzfus, Adolfo Vieira submitted him. I think Luque could as well. It'd just be a good way for him to get something going. Don't feed him to the wolves per se. It was a good win for Luque though. Kelvin Gastelum, I was thinking the loser of Marco Tulio and Roman Kopylov would be good for Kelvin Gastelum. Obviously, that's going to be a big fight on UFC 328. I don't know who I'm picking yet in that fight, to be honest. Kopylov obviously coming off the RoboCop loss, and he lost to Paulo Costa. Marco Tulio coming off getting finished by CLD. It'll be a good fight for sure. I genuinely don't know who's going to win, though. I'd
Yeah.
probably lean towards. Yeah, I don't know. Who are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna take Tulio. Just because I love the kickboxing from Roman, but I don't know. Tulio, I still think he's a pretty highly coveted prospect. He's powerful. He's pretty stocky. And he'll press forward. I think he'll be able to stifle Kopylov a little bit, who likes to pitter patter from the outside and kind of pick his shots. I feel like Tulio might give him a little bit of trouble for that. That's like my initial thoughts, but yeah, I like that. I like that fight for Kelvin. For Luke, I don't know. Stoltz was. I feel like that's like a big step down. No disrespect to Dustin Stoltz. I was thinking someone else who came off a submission victory recently. Give Vicente Luque Trayshawn Gore.
Okay, that could be good.
Like, I feel like Gore is solid, but like I feel like that could be another fun fight. Just get Luque in there and could
For
be
sure.
dangerous though.
For
Trayshawn
sure.
Gore is dangerous, as from what we've just seen. He is dangerous.
I don't know. For me, I definitely want to see Luque in another like Unk fight or like a veteran fight. So yeah, Trayshawn Gore could work. I know Gore has a lot of experience. Maybe a Brad Tavares would be cool. That's another beatable opponent for Luque, but
yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, either way, Luque gets it done by sub in round one.
Why do I feel like Luque and Brad Tavares has fought before?
They have not. I thought so too, but I don't think they fought. It's because, well, Brad Tavares has perennially been at middleweight, and Luque this is his first fight at middleweight. So,
yeah, no, I don't know. Right? I feel like that's a fight that's happened before, but it just has never happened.
Yep, it's never happened. So, who knows? But Chris Padilla and Markel Medeiros
is red.
He's super red. This is a good back
to pick with this fight. Can I go first? How in the world was this a draw? And how do you announce that it was a win and then revoke it as a draw an hour, not even an hour later, I guess 20 minutes later? And they didn't even, no one explained what happened. No one explained that, Bruce Buffer might have read the wrong scorecard, or, there was just a miscalculation in the numbers. Do you know how I found out that this fight was a draw? I went on DraftKings. I won the money from the Chris Padilla fight, and then they put it in my account and then took it away, saying that it was a push 15 minutes later. It was the most confused I've ever been. I was like, I just watched him win. I watched him win. Also, there is no way that he didn't win that fight. I'm actually astonished that he didn't win that fight.
Well, actually, so Taco is actually appealing it. He's trying to.
Yes, he should be. He should be. There's no way that he didn't win that fight. Also, how can you announce that I feel like it's pretty simple math. I don't know how you messed that up. I was just super confused, and I'm sure you were too. It just made no sense. I personally, there's no way that Markel Medeiros won the first 2 rounds of this fight, and he got a point taken in the 3rd round. I physically cannot comprehend how this would be a draw. I really do not see Markel Medeiros winning the first 2 rounds of the fight. I understand that some of his strikes and elbows, this was a great fight. Don't get me wrong. This was an absolute banger. I think this was absolutely, priced up to be the fight that it was. But I understand the Medeiros did have some heavy strikes. At times, it looked like he was hitting Padilla heavier than Padilla was hitting him. But I think the forward pressure, aggression, and just overall volume of Padilla should have negated any of that, because it's not like Medeiros was hitting him with an elbow and he was stumbling backwards. Like, Padilla would get hit with an elbow and keep walking forward and throw 6 more strikes at him and land all of them. Look at the strike totals. I mean, it was ridiculous. I don't understand. I think Padilla won that fight undoubtedly, and I don't know how you could do that. So that was my little talk.
Yeah, definitely one of the stranger scoring situations you'll see. Definitely a good back and forth fight. Markel opened Padilla up with that lead elbow. He made it competitive, but I had Padilla taking the first and the third. Apparently, though, without a point deduction, Markel was actually winning on the cards. And then, there's some kind of judging error or Bruce Buffer misread. Either way, went down as a draw. Just overall weird night for the scorecards. This was kind of just one instance of it. For Taco Padilla, I think he's proven that he's ready to be in these sort of dogfights. And if you want to step up in that regard, how about Chris Padilla versus Matt Frevola?
I like it. I like that.
Two guys that'll come to scrap.
Frivola's a dog. Shout out the island.
Yeah, I think that would work. And then, honestly, for Markel Medeiros, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I think it's kind of fair. Markel Medeiros versus Tofik Musayev. Because I'm not convinced that Tofik Musayev should get a big jump up after that. In a fight that he cheated in.
Okay, yes, but I still think Medeiros is pretty raw for a vet like Musayev, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, it all depends on how the appeal goes, because if this stays as a draw, Markel Medeiros is fighting up. Like he's gonna get a step up.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think even I guess Musayev cheated. Not I guess he did. But
and he just lost by sub to Oralby before that.
Yeah, but Oralby's an absolute animal. I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable giving Musayev Medeiros or vice versa. I kind of want to see Medeiros before he takes that next step. I want to see a little more because Padilla pieced him up. Like I understand it was a back and forth fight, but I want to see a little bit more from him.
I don't know. For what it's worth, I think Medeiros looked good on his back foot. Like I think his counters were still
good on his back foot.
He was staying in the fight. It's not like this was a wash by any means.
I
Taco is good.
I feel like he'd get killed by Musayev, if I'm being completely honest. I think Musayev would just smother him with the wrestling.
How about okay, if you wanna step down from Medeiros, I think I could do like Medeiros versus like Kai Kamaka.
Nah, I feel like that's I guess Kamaka's been in the UFC before.
And Kamaka's coming off a win.
Yeah, that is true. Let's see. I'm scrolling Tapology. Like I want like a middle of the line fight for him. Like Ooh, okay. Give Medeiros Daniel Zellhuber.
Oh God. Yeah, I guess you could do that. I mean, if Zellhuber doesn't win that one, then it's over.
Or because actually, where would Musayev be sitting in this? Where is Musayev sitting in this? I guess it's on Tapology, but where do they have him? Bro is not even here. They still have Ignacio Bahamondes at 22, and Musayev is like nowhere to be found. Yeah, I don't know. I would say maybe. I mean, I like the Zellhuber fight. Like, I'm not giving him a guy like Cowboy Fernandez. I think Cowboy Fernandez would smoke him.
No way. No way.
Yeah, like I feel like that's the pretty much middle of the line fight. Could give him someone like Evan Elder, who's not, over the top, but I think Padilla is better than Evan Elder. So if this gets changed to a win or a loss, or I guess would they change this to a win if Padilla loses
if the appeal goes through, then they change it to a win. But I don't know if he's gonna win this appeal.
No, but I mean, like, so it'll just stay a draw if Padilla loses the appeal.
Yeah,
like,
it'll just stay a draw.
Can't turn to a win. Yeah, that's so interesting, man.
I'm telling, a draw really helps out Medeiros with the matchmaking. Like if he lost this fight, then I'd see a step down. But
That's crazy. Through 14 fights in his career, he'd be 11-1-2, or I guess he is 1-1. But that's like an
He's
interesting
only
stat
lost
line.
once. So
Yeah, it's an interesting stat line right there, or record line. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that should have been a Padilla win. I couldn't give Medeiros 2 rounds in that fight, especially it being so close.
all right, Suarez and Lupi. Lupi caught her in round 1.
Yep.
She had that overhand right, the slam, the whole thing. And for a second, I thought Lupi was actually going to win this fight. I was very scared. I thought we were going to see an upset here. But nope. Suarez recovered, scrambled to a single leg, got on top. That was that. Second round submission. I mean, she looked sharp. She dealt with adversity in round 1. She absolutely controlled when it mattered. I think she is definitely now in that title conversation. And honestly, that's how I'm going to matchmake her. I think Suarez is probably looking at late this year at the earliest before she fights again. But here's the thing. She doesn't need another win to punch her ticket. I think she is next in line for the title shot. Whenever Zhang Wei Li comes back, they're going to do Zhang Wei Li versus Mackenzie Dern. And then I think the winner of that fight, Suarez. And I'm thinking we're going to see Zhang Wei Li versus Tatiana Suarez too.
Oh no, another great fight.
I mean, that's the
can't
thing.
wait.
But that's the thing. Like, what does Tatiana Suarez really need to do at this point? I think she is.
Oh, nothing.
She's earned her shot again.
I genuinely think they could have just kept recycling her after she lost to Zhang Wei Li, if we're being completely honest.
She literally beats everyone except Zhang Wei Li. It's kind of like a very eerie situation.
It could have been Wei Li versus Suarez 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, no disrespect to the loaded strawweight division, as Sam loves to say,
which has been aging horribly, by the way.
Yeah, ever since Sam coined that might have aged worse than Bisinger Sisterkayev is the next Sean O'Malley. It's still yo, Sam, I love you, bro. I know you're probably not going to see this, but that is one of the takes of all time.
2 of the takes of all time.
Yeah, 2 of the takes of all time. Oh, funny times at noon.
But yeah, no, I think Tatiana Suarez has earned her shot. There's nothing else she has to do. For Lupi Godinez, I was thinking matchmaking wise, you could do Lupi Godinez versus. How about Lupi Godinez versus Alexia Tainara?
Ooh, that would be a good fight. 2 aggressive women in that octagon. I like that. Tainara looked great too against Brazil. She looked amazing. Yeah,
she's earned her step up, and I can look at the rankings right now, but I still think Lupi's in the top 10, right? So that would be the top 10.
I think Tainara deserves it. She's looked really good in her first few fights in the UFC.
Yeah, Tainara's 13. Tainara's 13 and Lupi is 6. So it makes sense rankings wise.
I like it.
And Tatiana Suarez holding strong as the number 2 contender. But Chris, any other thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, Lupi did give Suarez a little scare. She did what I thought she could do. I said if she gets the hands going, then she might be able to, piece up Suarez. The thing is, I think she rocked Suarez, and then when she kind of pulled her, and then she fell. So it wasn't a knockdown, because when they replayed it, I was like, oh, Suarez didn't get knocked down. She got rocked, and then I would say pushed off balance, tripped. But still, I mean, we all know that Lupi is a very solid boxer. She has the wrestling. I think Lupi just went a little too much into the wrestling. Exactly what I said she can't do. You have Suarez kind of pieced up on the feet. She looked good on the feet. And once she engages in the wrestling, like, that's Suarez's world. It doesn't matter if you have Suarez's back. You saw how easy Suarez was able to get out of that and then reverse it and then lay on Lupi for a few minutes. It was like child's play for her. Yeah, I mean, her best bet was really just stay on the feet and try and get something done. And she accomplished that, but she didn't follow through. She took it to Suarez's world, and Suarez made her pay for that. So yeah, good. I would say I would call that a comeback win. Good comeback win for Suarez. But I think Lupi definitely could take that and learn from it. But her versus Tainara would be sick. That would be a good women's fight to watch. I would be actually excited to watch that fight
for sure. But yeah, Suarez gets it done and essentially cements her spot in line for the next title shot. Let's get into this one. I was very, very surprised that I got the lone wolf on this, but I appreciate y'all. I bet on the women's MMA fight to end in finish. Dude, good on you, man.
Yo, good
on
job.
you. We've seen a lot more finishes in women's MMA recently.
It's low-key awesome.
Like we had Alice Pereira get her finish. We had Alexa Grasso get a finish. Jocelyn Edwards got a finish a few weeks ago, I believe. We've been seeing a lot more finishes in women's MMA. So hopefully the odds kind of stay where they are on the finish lines. But yeah, man, that's a good bet to get Suarez.
Those lines are always juiced. Those are great lines to take if you're pretty confident in that.
And it used to be the opposite for me because I always bet the over 1.5 or like the over 2.5 in women's fights and just parlay all of them. And usually it ends up
it's so chalk. It's like I just can't bring myself to do it.
It is crazy chalk, but it used to work. It worked like all of last year, but to start this year, we've been seeing a lot of finishes, especially in round one. So pretty crazy. But I was very surprised I got Gamrot as the lone wolf. This was vintage Gamrot. He took down Ribovic whenever he wanted. He logged how many? Nearly 7 minutes of control time. Finished with a textbook arm triangle. I mean, this was an old school, precise, dominant win for Gamrot. If you appreciate positional grappling, then this was a treat. And I can appreciate positional grappling when I see it. I will say, though, the UFC really needs to stop feeding him unranked guys. I'd give him someone in the top 15. I think Gamrot is a cut above this unranked pool. And this was too big of a step up for Ribovic. I don't know why they gave him a top 10 fight. I get that he's a fun fighter and he's always in fight of the night conversations. He can't wrestle. He just can't. Again, he got taken down several times by Loic Rajabov. I don't know what made people think that he was going to defend Gamrot takedowns, but Gamrot kind of had his way in this one. And he got it done by sub. I know he is a guy that really was looking for that finish. He doesn't have a lot of finishes in his UFC career. Was able to get one here.
I'll tell you what made me think that he was going to defend takedowns from Gamrot. Pure delusion. Yeah, pure delusion. Also, quick side note: did you see the center that Cuse got from the I guess not portal, but they signed 19-year-old kid from Mali, Abdramain Sibi, 7 foot, 7'6" wingspan. In the Adriatic League, he averaged 15, 11, I think like 6 and like 3 blocks.
Wow.
Yeah, wait, let's see.
How did we get him?
We just signed him because he went to college. Oh, no, he averaged 18.5 points per game, 11.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and just under 3 blocks a game.
That's nuts.
He like low-key moves. He's really fast. And he flies on the court. We love it. Let's go, Cuse. We're back.
Hey, yeah, we'll see what happens there. For a second, I thought you were talking about football center, and then you start talking about averages, and I was like, oh.
No. Yeah, no. Yeah, this kid's good. That might have been our portal big, so hopefully that works out. But yeah, Gamrot, sorry I keep hating on you, bro. I don't know why I hate you, but I do. You're a very good fighter. I got to give you credit. He did everything he needed to do. He smothered him like a fire blanket and drowned Esteban Ribovic. I think the bigger question is, how did Ribovic get this fight? His agent,
I don't know.
His agent has to be awesome. Well, I guess the agent isn't banking for fights, but Sean Shelby or Mick Maynard must love Ribovic. Like, they have to love this guy.
Well, I mean, for good reason. He's always in a really fun fight, but a top 10.
I think they just wanted to. I think this was like the supreme litmus test for him. I think they really wanted to just see how he did against a really good grappler. Guarantee you in the future, he is not getting a really good grappler unless they absolutely have to give it to him.
That'll be an interesting thing.
They want to keep him on the feet. They want to keep him on the feet. I think this was just like if he beats Gamrot, well, we can give him anyone. But yeah, I mean, look, tried it out. Obviously, went horribly wrong, but Rivic's still very good. I don't think you could really put this as a huge stain on his career. I mean, he's 15-3. But yeah, it was. I expected a little bit more. But then the other half of me was like, you realize that Gamrot's just gonna smother him, right? And I was like, shh.
Well, no, I think the matchmaking is pretty easy for this one though. Gamrot has been pushing to fight Paddy Pimblett for a while.
Paddy Pimblett.
And honestly, this is the perfect measuring stick for Paddy, in my opinion. A win here, if Paddy beats Gamrot, he has a legit case as a real contender at lightweight. I think that is the litmus test for him to see if he can survive in the top 10. But I would do Gamrot versus Paddy. I think that makes complete sense. And for Esteban Ribovic, I think you'll be a fan of this one. And it's funny that you brought up no grapplers because this guy can grapple. Esteban Ribovic versus Chris Duncan. I
was literally just going to say that.
This has to be the fight.
Please. That has to happen. Dude, someone actually might die in that octagon.
Obviously, both guys coming off getting subbed by top 10, top 15 guys.
Dude, I would actually... That might be my favorite fight ever. I would do
Ribovic versus Duncan. It has to happen.
Please. Someone make that happen, please. That might be one of the best fights of all time. If it
I think
goes,
it'll be one of the best fights of 2026 for sure.
Oh yeah, like that would be awesome.
And don't stick it in the Apex. Put it in a crowd.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude. If you, I swear to God, you guys do that in the Apex, I'm gonna flip out. I mean,
but you know, they put Faraz Ziam in the Apex, so anything.
We can talk about that later. That guy might be the most disrespected fighter in the UFC.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ridiculous. He's been a prospect for like 8 years. It's like, what are we doing? I don't know. Poor guy. But yeah, Gamrot, you got it. You could take on Paddy Pimba or however Moicano says it. Hilariously says it.
Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I had Holland as the underdog. Chris also took Holland as the underdog after a little bit of convincing.
The trend never lies.
This was a masterclass from Holland, 30-27. The leg kick game, just relentless. Randy Brown's lead leg looked like it was hit by a bat.
Dude, within a minute too. It was literally a minute that he had a swelled up shin.
Yeah, Holland was confident. He was talking trash. He was doing Kevin Holland things. He nearly locked in a Darce.
He did lock in the Darce and somehow didn't crank enough, and Randy Brown was able to survive. Craziest sub escape I've ever seen, by the way.
He just looked on in every way. Kevin Holland is back. You know, don't count him out. This guy's back. Matchmaking, I do Kevin Holland versus Jeff Neal. I've seen this mocked a few times. I agree with it. I think Holland tends to shine when he's matched up with these established veterans, and this feels like the right fit. If Jeff comes back a little diminished, obviously last time we saw him, he got slimed out by Uros Medic. If Jeff comes back a little diminished, Holland can definitely give him a real test. And I also think he can keep things from getting too ugly. So I think they should do Kevin Holland versus Jeff Neal.
I don't know. You know what I really want to see? I feel like Jeff Neal's kind of like down and out. I think Kevin Holland would smoke Jeff Neal. But what fight I would really want to see? Actually, wait. Also, no, you actually could do Kevin Holland versus Jeff Neal because they did fight.
They were booked to fight each other in Houston.
No, but they did fight earlier in their careers. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Dude, Kevin Holland said it. I think it would be so funny if they actually did it. Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez too.
Well, okay, here's the funny thing about that. I saw a tweet last night that said D-Rod accepted a fight against Leon Edwards at International Fight Week.
Bro, what? Dude, come on. Kevin Holland literally bailed you out of jail, bro. Fight him again.
I don't think they'd do a rematch of that so soon.
No, I know, but I just think it was so funny that Kevin Holland actually bailed him out of jail so he could rematch him.
Wait, he actually bailed him out of jail?
Yeah, dude, D-Rod was in a Mexican prison for 8 months.
Yeah,
That's why
I
he
didn't know
just
Kevin
disappeared.
bailed him out.
Yeah, Kevin, the on Instagram, I'm assuming it was right. I think Kevin Holland said it. He literally bailed out D-Rod. One, because I mean, not
He's definitely just messing with you. There's no way that's true.
I hope I'm gonna look this up right now. I believe it. I mean, I don't know. Kevin Holland bailed.
There's absolutely no way Kevin Holland bailed D-Rod out of prison. I cannot believe that.
Let's see. Damn, he got arrested for he crossed the border with 2 pounds of weed. Yeah, that'll get you put in jail. I don't know. He said he did.
But Kevin Holland says so much stuff that like we can't believe everything the guy says to us. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't trust Kevin Holland in his word.
I guess, but I feel like if it was so egregious, then Daniel Rodriguez would have came out and said he didn't.
Well, I don't think D-Rod needs to. I feel like that's such a figurative thing to say from Kevin Holland. Like I could easily see him just on the couch say, "Oh yeah, I just bailed D-Rod out of prison so I could fight him again." Like, I don't think he actually means that. I don't think he actually bailed him out of a Mexican prison, especially in fight camp. Why would he do that? Like, no reason.
Maybe he's a nice guy.
I'll
give Kevin Holland the benefit of the doubt.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not gonna believe it until I see D-Rod himself come out and say it, but I guess Kevin Holland bailed him out. I don't know.
We're glad.
Let us know in the chat. I don't know what's going on with that, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just a crazy story overall, and the fact that we had no idea what was happening to D-Rod and only.
Well, I feel like if that was actually true, I would have been seeing that everywhere. I have not seen that once.
Really?
No,
I saw it was like all over my Instagram, like right before the fight when he said it. Yahoo even wrote an article about it.
Hold on, bruh. Okay. Anyways, matchmaking for Randy Brown, which I was thinking of while I looked this up. I was thinking Randy Brown versus Sam Patterson.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. That would be another fight of the lanky guys. That would be a fun fight.
I see it on Reddit.
Look up Kevin Holland bails out Daniel Rodriguez. It should be the first thing on Yahoo Sports.
I don't know if I trust Yahoo Sports because they're just taking it from Kevin.
Well, yeah, but they wrote an article about it.
No, he meant. I think he meant I bailed him out as in like I bailed him out because I threw the fight. I don't think he actually means he bailed him out of jail.
No, he said I bailed him out so I can have this rematch so he can get through his probationary period and we can fight again.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Like, let's see. This is what he said on the Nelk Boys podcast.
Yeah, like Nelk Boys. All right, we're good. Yeah, I'm good on that. These are just horrible sources at this point. I'm not believing it. we're counting on Nelk Boys and Holland himself.
It came from Big Mouth himself. So
his nickname is literally Big Mouth,
dude. But I trust.
And I'm supposed to believe what he's saying. I'll love to Kevin Holland. I don't know what's going on with that, but moving along, let's get off this topic. Aaron Pico versus Patricio Pitbull.
Thank God Pico won, bro. I couldn't take another loss from him.
Yeah, we called a calculated Pico on the pod. That is exactly what we got.
He was calculatedly.
Yep, what was calculatedly sharp.
Yeah,
Aaron
yeah.
which, by the way,
is a
it's
word.
6
Is a word.
takedowns.
It was a word too. Calculatedly is a word.
It was 6 takedowns, sharp combos. He busted Pitbull up in round 2. He fought smart in round 3 instead of gambling it. He is a top 15 featherweight. I think it is time we put respect on Aaron Pico's name. This is exactly what we wanted to see in the Lerone fight, and unfortunately, Lerone is just that good. And Pico was a little bit too aggressive in that fight. Matchmaking wise, it was a convincing win over Pitbull, but he's still 1-1 in the UFC, so I don't think they're going to give him a huge jump up. But I do think they'll give him a top 15 fight. It makes sense to build some ground before jumping up a level. I want to see Aaron
really?
Pico.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Pitbull still going to be a top 15 fighter. I was like, no way.
Well, Pitbull is still in the top 15.
Not after this fight.
No, he is. He's at number 15.
What?
Yeah.
I guess there hasn't been action in this division.
And ironically, my matchmaking comes.
Oh my God! Wait, tell me who. Wait, can we say it on 3? Because I know exactly who you're going to say, and I'm going to say it too.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Nathaniel Wood.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking Aaron Pico versus David Onama.
I was talking about Nathaniel Wood for Pitbull.
Oh, for Pitbull?
Yeah.
You could go Nathaniel Wood. I was thinking Pitbull versus Jose Delgado.
Nah, you can't do that. You can't pass up Nathaniel Wood to give Pitbull a guy that.
Well, I think Nathaniel Wood should be fighting into the top 10. So I'm just way higher on Nathaniel Wood.
Oh, okay. I don't know. From what they've been doing to some of these guys like Nathaniel Wood and Ziam, like I feel like that is just not going to happen. Not that I don't want it to happen, and I don't think it should happen, but like Ziam can't even crack the top 15, and he's been in the UFC for like 7 years.
I wanted Nathaniel Wood versus either Aljo or Arnold Allen if one of them loses.
I don't know.
So I'm sticking with that.
I think you might be shooting for the stars there, Shrikar.
I mean, what does Nathaniel Wood need to do? He's beat top 15 caliber guys already.
I know, but then you look as far as Ziam, it's like, what does Ziam need to do to even get a top 15 fight?
Yeah, but that's Ziam, and this is Nathaniel Wood, and it's 2 different weight classes.
I mean, the dude was 10-3 and never in the top 15.
Right, but like I can't use that as a basis that they're going to continue doing that. I feel like for what he deserves, Nathaniel Wood deserves a top 10 fight by this point.
No, I know, but I guess I'm just using the precedent of how they've been doing things.
And even then, like Pitbull is right on the cusp of the rankings, and he could be out of the rankings after next week.
That's why I was confused. I'm like, there's no way he's 15. But I guess there just hasn't been that much movement in this division as of late.
I mean, the next big featherweight fight in the rankings, at least, is, I believe, Sterling and Zawal. I don't think there's any other ranked fights happening at featherweight before that. So
featherweight's moving slow.
And eventually Ortega's going to move out of the rankings. So maybe that'll be some movement there. So.
Yeah, I don't get why they just leave some of these guys in the rankings when they're like, I'm literally moving to a different weight class.
Yeah, like Pereira is still ranked at light heavyweight.
It makes no sense, but I guess it doesn't matter, but it does matter. It matters to me.
It does. But I think Aaron Pico and David Onama would be a banger. Onama is no joke, man. I think he just ran into a very tough prospect last time out in Steve Garcia. And this fight is almost guaranteed to be a banger. The winner of Pico and Onama is definitely looking at a top 10 matchup pretty quickly. I think that is a fight of the night caliber fight. Nothing else needs to be said. I think Pico and Onama would just be insane.
Yeah, I think that would be a very good fight too. Yo, wait, time out. I'm looking at Tapology. I love their like rankings in the divisions. Guess who they have as the 11th best featherweight in the world?
I couldn't tell you who.
Pat Sabatini.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, he's better than Arnold Allen, Zalal, Garcia, Vallejos.
At featherweight? There's no way.
Yeah, I swear. He is ranked number 11. He is one spot behind Lerone Murphy.
That is,
Dude, they have Ortega as the 7th best featherweight.
yeah, that's nuts.
I don't know how this. I guess they still have Ilya as the 2nd best featherweight. So like, whatever.
All right, main card time.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that Pico fight. I was so happy to see him get back in the win column, and he looked great too. He looked so calculatedly smart.
For sure.
Yeah, like he really took his time with that one, and he showed us what he can do. So, but big Cub Swanson,
Yep,
him,
Cub Swanson. Not just getting the win. I mean, he made this look effortless.
Dude, he dogged Nate Landwehr. Like that was criminal.
Yeah, 2 knockdowns. Landwehr ended up wrestling with Herb Dean after the final shot. I mean, this was the perfect send off for Cub. He retired in the cage. I mean, this guy is a legend. And
you know it's bad when the guy starts wrestling the ref because he has no idea where he is.
Literally what happened. I think Cub Swanson is going to be a heck of a coach. I mean, you already look at the guys in his gym, Le'Veon Douglas, Danny Silva, like he is going to be a world champ level coach, in my opinion. I think it's always the guys who are literally like on the, like who never got the belt, but were like kind of sort of close to getting it. Like those end up always being just the GOAT coaches, besides Habib. But I think Cub Swanson, that was the perfect send off, the perfect swan song for him. No matchmaking here. He retired in the cage. For Nate Landwehr, I was thinking Nate Landwehr versus like a Gabriel Santos. Just more fun fights for him, man. Like yeah, that's kind of what it's going to be. And Nate the Trainer is always going to be in a fun fight, and that will always stand true. But for this one, the matchmaking is very thin because Cub did what he had to do. He retired, and it was an absolutely perfect send-off. It left you wanting more. That's how good the retirement was.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was absolutely awesome. I don't think we could have asked for a better performance from someone who was retiring, and you would have never thought that he'd be retiring. If you didn't say that Cub Swanson was retiring, you'd be like, oh, who's he fighting next? Who's he about to destroy next? But yeah, definitely a very good performance. And yeah, for Landwehr, I don't know. I mean, you could just put him in any fight, really. Yeah, you can give him Gabriel Santos. I'm kind of looking like down here. I mean,
and by the way, I'll just spew out this take right now. I think that was the greatest retirement fight of all time. Like,
yes, I agree. I said that as soon as he'd won. I don't like that. Well, see, the thing is, I have to give it to Cub over Robbie Lawler because one, there was just much more volume for Cub, and two, he looked way better than Robbie Lawler. Like Robbie Lawler just landed one punch on Nico Price,
and also Nate Landwehr is way better than Nico Price. Like Nate Landwehr is actually a tough matchup. Cub came into this as an underdog. I'm pretty sure Robbie Lawler came in that fight as like a minus like 500 or something. You know what I mean?
Nah, there's no way. There's no here. I'll look that up. There's no way. Robbie Lawler. Nah, dude. Robbie Lawler was plus 170 in that fight. He was a bigger underdog than Cub Swanson. I'm so serious though. No,
it depends who you rate more. I don't rate Nico Price.
No disrespect. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. That Robbie Lawler knockout looked staged. Yeah. When that happened, I was like, there's no way. There is no way that's what killed him.
This one actually looked like Landwehr.
This one was a real fight. The Robbie Lawler one was way too good to be true. It was way too good to be true. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We love Robbie Lawler. I love Robbie Lawler. But yeah, no, Cub Swanson looked insane. This dude still has it. Like he could still fight for another year or two if he really wanted to. But
yeah, mind you, the guy is 42.
Yeah, I think he's doing the smart. Well, I'm saying like quitting while he's ahead, but he's already accomplished everything he's needed to accomplish. Like he's just going out on top.
Well,
That's
and
it.
he knows the spot that he's in too. He's very aware of it.
And
he's not
yeah.
getting to the belt. It'd take too much time for him. He has a family.
I
He has a
agree
very
he's
good
gonna be
family
a
at that.
sick
So
coach. I actually cannot wait to watch him coach.
yeah, I mean, you
his
see what
guys do.
Le'Veon and Danny Silva are doing. They look like Cub Swanson. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, they're clinical, and that's what Cub Swanson was. He's a clinical striker. Like he's surgical. I'll put it like that. He just picks you apart. That's what he did to Nate Landwehr in his last fight at 42. The dude has 45 professional fights, and he looked like that in fight 45. It's insane.
yeah, we're pushing our chips in on that gym. I think it's gonna be a very successful gym, and probably the next up and coming one, fighting nerds esque, but not really. But yeah, Cub Swanson, a legend of the game. Shout out WEC, gets it done. Dominic Reyes,
fight of the
Johnny
night.
Walker. We'll keep this short because this fight doesn't deserve any conversation from us. We saw some leg kicks, we saw some punches. Nobody wanted to get hit. I think this is one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Both guys are chinny, and they both knew it. Yeah, that's all I got on this.
Yeah, this sucked. This was terrible. You called this, Shrikar, though. I gotta give you props. You said this would be the fight to end in decision on the card. I mean, that was, yeah. It's like Murphy's Law how that works. You have two guys that both just perennially get finished or finish other fighters, and you put them together, and it's like their finishing abilities just cancel out, and they can't do anything. Yeah, they were both just scared. I not scared, but very timid. I don't know what the problem was, but Reyes gets it done. I think Sam took Johnny Walker. We both took Reyes. I mean, I think either horse in this race was a good horse to side with. But yeah, this was a snoozer. I don't think these guys deserve to be match made for, at least right now.
I'll give a matchmaking.
No, don't feed into it. Don't feed into it.
I'll do it just because we kind of have to.
Yeah,
we won't talk about the fight, but we will talk about what happens after it. I'll do Dominic Reyes versus Jamal Hill.
Oh God,
Hill's a former champion, but he's lost a bit of that shine lately. This one isn't really a bounce back fight for either of them. It's kind of more about just stopping the bleeding. You know what I mean? Like, they're both kind of on these downhill spirals. And even though Reyes did get the win, it didn't boost his stock in any way. And he's still the guy that got KO'd by Carlos Ulberg, so I do Dominic Reyes.
I got one for Johnny Walker. This guy just beat another Jay Walker. Let him fight Dustin Jacoby. Yeah, let him fight Dustin Jacoby. I think that would be a good fight. Someone should get knocked down in that. I hope.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I was thinking Johnny Walker versus Nikita Krylov.
Oh God, battle of the chins.
Yeah, obviously Krylov coming off a finish over Modestas Bukauskas. I think the timing would work out. They're both right next to each other in the rankings. So because we've seen Walker against prospects before, so it'd still be a good narrative, right? Jacoby's not a prospect, obviously, but I've seen Johnny Walker get mocked against Navajo Sterling. Maybe. I don't think Navajo deserves.
I need to see a little more from him. Yeah. I need to see a little more. I mean, yes, he did just get his first finish in the UFC in 4 fights. It was against Bruno Lopez, though. I want to see him rack up 1 or 2 more wins before we start talking about, pushing this guy to the brink. I think he's really good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's probably one of the more talented light heavyweight prospects that I think we've seen, but I just need to see a little more from him. I wasn't convinced in the first 3 fights that he's going to be a killer. So I want to see a few more finishes.
All right. We go to probably the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. Definitely the best one since Gone into Ivasa back in UFC Paris in 2022. Josh Hokett versus Curtis Blades.
Dude, this was electric.
Yeah, two guys just brawling like they had nothing to lose. Both of them on fumes by round 2, but still throwing bombs. Blades' face looked like he'd been in like a serious accident. Hokit landed 177 significant strikes and barely had a mark on him. Yeah, I mean, Hokit took the second and third pretty clearly, in my opinion. He won an absolute war. He earned himself a spot on the White House card against Derek Lewis, so matchmaking is very easy because it's already been done for us. Josh Hokit is fighting Derek Lewis at the White House.
Thank you, Dana White.
And for what it's worth, he is going to take Lewis down at will. He is a -400 favorite for a reason. Josh Hokit is about to absolutely obliterate Derek Lewis.
Not D. Lewis.
And Hokit is becoming a UFC star in real time. So pretty cool to see.
Yo, good pick flip, Shrikar.
Yeah, thank God I flipped that pick. If you guys tapped into
Shrikar is now down 1. So I need to lock in. Boys. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know who I would have Curtis Blades fight. It's like it doesn't make sense. They're kind of he's in no man's land, bro. Like, like run it back with Rizvan Kuniev. Like that's my best guess.
No, I was thinking Blades takes some time off, and then if Walter Walker goes out there and wins his next fight, you do Curtis Blades versus Walter Walker.
Yeah, that could be a good fight. That could be a good fight. Because I
really Blades is just a gatekeeper
for him right now. I really don't. Unless you give him like Vitor Petrino, but I feel like that's Vitor could deserve that. Or unless you want to, but I wasn't convinced in his last fight. I was going to say unless you want to boost Mario Pinto up to the pinnacle. But I wasn't convinced against his Felipe Franco fight. If he finished Franco easily, I would say maybe give him Pinto, but that wasn't a good win in my opinion. So I don't think he deserves that.
Yeah, I think Blades would beat Pinto for what it's worth at this moment in time, but I think Blades versus Walter Walker he just needs time off. He just needs to recover. That's the big thing here. I think Curtis Blades has definitely earned some time off here. So,
agreed.
Again, an absolute war. Fight of the year so far, and the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. It really was, though. Like, it really was.
All right. Co-main event, Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa at 205 is a completely different animal. He is faster. He's sharper. He is more explosive. He body kicked Murzakanov at will. Broke his arm with blocked head kicks in round 3, and then landed the finish with a perfect tie kick. I mean, this was a masterclass from Paulo Costa. He has not looked this good in years. I think he needs to stay a light. He needs to stay a light heavyweight. I think the weight cut at middleweight has been killing him. This is why I'm always going to be a proponent of fighters moving up rather than moving down. Look how good this guy looked at 205. The skills will translate. When you're not cutting as much weight and your brain is not getting jumbled up by that whole mess, you are going to be a better fighter. This is why I'm laying the chips on Robert Whittaker being better at 205, because he is just going to be that good. The skills will translate, right? The technical ability doesn't go anywhere. So definitely proud of Paulo Costa. Again, this was an absolute masterclass from him. I'm going to go into matchmaking when we get to our main event, because Paulo Costa definitely factors into the matchmaking there. For Azamat Murzakanov, I feel like they're going to give Costa the next title shot or interim shot if they did that. It's very, very good that you said that, John, because that's exactly what I'm thinking for Paulo Costa. But Azamat Murzakanov, I'm looking at that Jan Blachowicz and Bogdan Guskov matchup at UFC 328, because that is going to be the big matchup for light heavyweight. That is going to be where everything kind of changes in the title picture. I think the loser of Jan and Guskov is going to fight Azamat. I can say that now. But for Paulo Costa, stay tuned for what we say on the main event, because that's a whole nother situation.
I can't believe we're living in a world where we might see Paulo Costa be a champion.
Could happen.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good fight from him. I don't even think the injury to Azmat was the reason that he lost. I think Azmat was just way too aggressive. I think I still feel like he was the better striker. I just think he was kind of walking into the fire against someone like Costa that he's been there before. He's fought the best of the best at middleweight, and dude, I think those body kicks really hurt Azmat. He was
Just like he did in the Kopylov fight too.
Yup, he was ripping those body kicks. Like, those are nasty. Dude, if I took 25% of one of those, I think I'd be dead. I actually think I'd shut off. But yeah, I mean, Costa is, I mean, he's never been a bad fighter. He's had some losses where, it makes you question. Also, the inactivity. Like I said, I think that was his 4th fight in the last 3 years. So it's almost like a Hamzat thing. It's like, do you want to give him the title shot? Because is he gonna fight again? Like, when is he gonna fight again? Is he gonna hold everything up?
He's worked past that though.
I hope so. I hope so, because I mean, that's my problem with some of these divisions is, the champion is very inactive. That's one of the reasons I love Volk. Volk literally, in Volk's prime of being a champion, he was fighting every 4 months, every 3 or 4 months. And it's insane. I mean, obviously not everyone can do that, but a guy like Islam, at least Islam, who's one of, if not the biggest star in the UFC. I don't know if I'd say that. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like, at least he fights at least 2 times a year, or at least tries to. I don't know. It's like some of these guys. I mean, like, dude, Hamzat won the belt in August, and he still has. They have, obviously he's fighting in April now. But
I mean, Ilya's been pretty inactive for what it's worth. The last time Ilya fought was in June.
Ilya's been going through
but yeah,
he has some personal issues. I guess Hamzat also had his fair share of issues, but yeah, it's like the inactivity is something that scares me, but hopefully maybe Costa being at a new weight class, he's gonna feel a little more comfortable physically and like fitness wise. But yeah, I think he does deserve it. I think you have to give it to him, especially with Ulberg probably being out now. I don't know if we've heard.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of inactivity, we're not going to see Ulberg back in action for like a year.
Yeah, well, that's not his fault. He got hurt.
Yeah,
but, I mean, I don't even know what the diagnosis was. He said like yesterday or 2 days ago, he's like, yeah, I don't even know what's going on with my knee. I'm like, dude, what? How? I'm sure he tore everything in his knee, at least his ACL or MCL. I'm gonna venture to say MCL, which would be not as bad as an ACL, but the way he was moving, that was pretty bad. Yeah, regardless, I think that Costa put on a great performance, and he shows up in these spots. You got to give him credit for that. He does show up in these random co-main event spots.
He's perennially been a co-main event.
Yeah, unless he's fighting
co-main. Strickland was a co-main. Let me actually go back and look. I'm pretty sure like his last 6 fights have been co-main events.
I really think they have. I'm
Paulo Costa. Yes. So co-main here, co-main against Kopylov, co-main against Strickland, co-main against Whitaker, co-main against Rockhold, and then fight night. So his past 5 fights have been co-main events on pay-per-views.
It's actually hilarious.
That is wild.
That is pretty funny.
But let's go straight to our main event here. Chris, I'll let you get your stuff off first.
That was ridiculous. How did that happen? Props to Ulberg, though. I mean, wow. That was, dude, I actually think I sat on the couch staring at the TV with my mouth open, jaw to the floor for at least 3 minutes. It was that has to be one of the most shocking victories I've ever seen in my life. It was I don't understand how he blows out his knee in the first minute of the fight and then knocks out Jiri Prochazka. I think all of it is on Jiri though. I have no idea what he was doing. I love Jiri. I there is no mercy to be shown in MMA. It's the game. It's the game you play. People aren't going to show mercy for you. I don't think Ulberg would have just laid down and rolled over for Jiri Prochazka if it was the other way around. I mean, dude, you just keep kicking the leg. If you keep kicking the leg, he's gonna topple like a table. Like, I know, I guess morally it doesn't feel right, but you guys are literally fighting for your lives. I don't understand. And Jiri, dude, I think it's time to say he's just perennially a choke artist. I don't really see any other way to put it. He just can't get the big moment done. He really can't, unless it's Glover Teixeira in the last 30 seconds of the fight, which he also shouldn't have won. Yeah, I'm very, very disappointed that this was the result. But good for Ulberg that he was able to persevere through that and somehow just land a crazy hook on Jiri. Yeah, that's a shocking one. I don't know where Jiri goes from here in his career. I really don't. That was probably one of the worst losses that he could have ever taken, especially in that circumstance. And Ulberg, we won't be seeing him for at least the rest of this year, maybe the beginning of next year as well. But speedy recovery to Carlos Ulberg, and I feel bad for Jiri Prochazka, man. That's a bad one. That's a bad one. That's like running into the end. That's like the NFL plays you see where they're running into the end zone and they drop the ball right before they cross the goal line.
Yeah, that is actually a really good analogy. Yeah, let's kind of talk about this. Ulberg blows out his knee in round one. He's falling down. He can't stay upright. Again, he was getting leg kicked to oblivion. Jiri was literally pointing at it. He's like, "Yeah, I see it."
It's like, dude, why are you pointing at it? We all see it. We all see it.
The fight is basically gift wrapped for Jiri, and then Jiri just stands in the pocket, playing with his food, giving Ulberg a fair chance. And Ulberg on one leg lands a perfect check left hook. He knocked out Reyes with that check hook. He did it to Jiri. Jiri was completely out. And then just like that, you have a new champion. It is genuinely one of the most unbelievable moments I've seen in an MMA fight. Ulberg had no business winning that. And yet Jiri cost himself the belt against a guy who could barely stand because he couldn't resist the samurai gimmick. Which people hold on to for no end. Oh yeah, Yuri's a samurai. I'm also slightly salty because Khalil Roundtree lost to Jiri. So I'm like kind of hating right now. But yeah, hey guys, is the samurai gimmick cool now? Yeah? Are you pleased with the theatrics? There you go. This division, man, light heavyweight is now in absolute flux. Ulberg is probably out 6 months to a year with the knee. I think we are going to see an interim belt, or at the very least, we are going to see a clear, definitive title eliminator / #1 contender fight. And I think the two guys that are going to be fighting in that fight are Paulo Costa and Magomed Ankalaev. It is a crowded light heavyweight scene, but it's kind of rudderless. So, I mean, look, Costa just looked really good against Mirzakhanov, good enough that one more win might be all he needs. Ankalaev is a former champ who is still very much in the mix now that this whole ordeal has gone down. If Pereira was still here, Ankalaev wouldn't even be sniffing a title shot, to be honest. But he is somehow, without fighting, worked his way back in. Whoever comes out of that fight between Ankalaev and Costa is next in line. Plain and simple. That's how it's going to go. For Jiri, he's 1-3 in UFC title fights now. 2 brutal knockout losses. The chin is a real concern. I guess in terms of matchmaking, again, we are looking at Jan and Guskov. If Guskov beats Jan Blachowicz, they are going to do Jiri versus Bogdan Guskov. I think that is the clear fight to make there. which really does suck for Jiri. But it also could suck for Bogdan because I don't know. I really don't know. I think this whole division is just kind of in shambles. But Jiri and Bogdan would be a great fight for what it's worth. I feel like that would be an absolute banger. These are two guys who are just willing to stand and trade. It'll be a good fight. Some guy is going to get chinned. But yeah, I think we see Ankalaev versus Costa, Ulberg versus the winner of that fight, Jiri versus Guskov, and then that would mean Azamat versus Jan Blachowicz. So that's how I'd kind of shake out this whole light heavyweight picture. If Jan beats Guskov, we're cooked. I don't know where this division is going to go. So all eyes are going to be on that fight at UFC 328. It just became that much bigger. But yeah, I think that's where I would go with light heavyweight. That's how I'd sort out this whole deal.
It's cooked. All the heavier weight division.
And then what does that mean for Khalil Roundtree? Like, I don't know where Khalil Roundtree would go from there because now the whole top 5 is booked up, and oh boy, it's just a mess.
It literally is a mess. Sadly.
And Robert Whittaker's coming up. Maybe you do Whittaker versus Roundtree, but
nah, bro. Do Whittaker versus Costa for the interim title.
Whittaker's not even close to an interim title, unfortunately. So
nah, don't worry, he is because I said so.
I'd love that. But also Whittaker and Costa just fought.
So just run it back. But it'll be a different weight class, so it's a different fight.
I don't think there's much interest in seeing Whittaker and Costa rematch, to be honest. I don't know.
Might have me there. Yeah.
I think Whittaker will fight Roundtree, and who else? There's someone else that's moving up to light heavyweight, I feel like, from middleweight, but I don't know, y'all. This division is kind of cooked right now.
Jiri really ruined my night terribly. Sorry to put that burden on you, Jiri, but
I won't say this was the worst way this fight could have gone because we still got a really memorable moment out of it. But if Jiri did his thing, this division would have been so much easier to match make. Like
that. Well, that was the worst way the fight could have gone for Jiri Prochazka. I guess also a pretty bad way for Ulberg, even though he won.
Yeah, RDR.
No winner in this fight.
Yeah, John, that's who I was thinking of. RDR is also moving up to light heavyweight.
Dude, he better, bro. He's way too big to be a middleweight. That dude is huge.
So RDR is going to get a ranked fight at light heavyweight too. So
run back Whittaker versus RDR at light heavyweight.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The UFC kind of just very messy everywhere.
Yeah, again, y'all, we're gonna reiterate it. This has not been a good start to the Paramount era in terms of the champs that we have, in terms of the fights that we've been getting, the cards that the UFC has been putting on. It's not been a good start. And we're gonna keep the onus out. We're gonna wait till like the end of the year to make any definitive judgments on the Paramount era. It's just not been good so far. And it's through some fault of the UFC, and this was not their fault. Like, Jiri just had to finish the job. He just had to do it. We would have had a marketable champion at 205, an active champ. Jiri would have been back in the octagon pretty soon. And it's rough. This is just a rough situation. Shout out to Carlos Ulberg, though. All the respect in the world. To pull things out, to pull it out of the fire like that is really, really dope. It just sucks because now you're on ice for a very, very long time, and this division is going to get held up. And there are worse feelings, but it's very hard to overcome a division that's just being held up. That is one of the worst feelings in the UFC. Especially
middleweight. Sorry.
Middleweight too. But middleweight, we're going to get some clearance. Hamzat and Strickland fighting at 328. But
sorry, I just had a frog in my throat.
But overall, man, this was an awesome card for what it is. Obviously, it delivered. The main card especially definitely delivered, besides Reyes and Walker.
Dude, Hokit versus Blades is undoubtedly fight of the year, and I don't know if any fight can top that.
I personally don't know if anything will. We're talking
that
about
was actually awesome. Even though I had blades, like solid amount on him too. That was just so enjoyable to watch. It was literally just action packed from start to finish, and you never think heavyweights could ever do that, especially this day and age. Yeah, but you know what, dude, I gotta give credit to Curtis Blades for sticking in there because he was rocked. Same with Hokit too. I mean, that first round looked brutal for him. I thought he was gonna get finished in the first round, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, they really put on a show. I think that Josh Hokit, you know, he might say crazy things or he might be cringy or you could think he's funny. What he does in the octagon, that should have made you at least a fan of his MMA like style and what he can do in the octagon, regardless of all the outside antics. And flipping the middle finger up 8 times was kind of funny. Can't lie.
I agree. I can't lie, y'all. I'm super hungry, so I'm
Yeah, I'm too.
out of here.
Yo,
I'm
what
gonna
you gotta go grub on?
I'm probably gonna go to Taco Bell and just come back.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna get a quesadilla. But
Doritos
hey, I
Loco
appreciate
Taco.
y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning into the stream. I know we've been going on at awkward times. We're trying to fix that right now. We're all busy people. We're trying to figure that stuff out. But the pick predictions are gonna be up Friday. So
Yeah.
be tuned for that. We'll have those ready to go. I've got all my predictions pretty much locked in by this point. Just gotta do a little bit more.
I
tape study.
don't.
I'm gonna come back. This is all to the benefit of me. We'll see what happens.
I'm about to lock in, bro.
The standings are very, very
AI.
close in picks right now. So
I'm about to use
for Curtis-
AI to make all my picks for me.
you could do that. You could.
I wonder how that would go. Maybe I should do that for one card, and I'll specify that. I'm
do it for this
actually
card.
using AI.
Why not?
No. I need a little bit more of a lead. I should have done that a few weeks ago if I was going to do it.
I think it's going to be closer to a big deficit than a big lead for you by this point. So I would try and do that pretty soon. But
Yo, what are you getting at, bro?
I'm once I get in the lead, I'm not letting it up. Like I'm just gonna
slow your roll, twin.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But
it's all love. It's all fair and love and more.
For sure. Thank y'all for tuning in to the stream. We're gonna cap it off right here. We will see you guys very, very, very soon. We love y'all. Have a good day, y'all. Peace.